All right, let's see. I'm a few minutes late, which is not terrible. But, okay, guys. You know that I did our special day 2 live stream, which I never do for a variety of reasons. One being that basically day 2 tells you nothing. But that's still true. That's still true. Day 2 meant absolutely nothing for what we are now seeing today, except it was kind of the start of what would come, which is, this is the Chaos Basho. And me and John incorrectly said, oh, May is just so normal. Nothing ever happens in May. You know, that's March and July. Well, this May tournament, we haven't seen anything like this in years, since the post Hakuho age and Terunofuji was in and out. Like, this is insane. Hello, Army. You are first. Congratulations. Though I'm going to pick on you later about something you said in the comments that may have turned out to be incorrect. Hello, Michael. Hello, Skeen. All right. I'm going to get into the day 10 events. Then we're actually going to take a look at the matchups live tonight. Like, just look at the schedule. Chaos Shodai. That's right. Hello, Michael. All right. Let me go through my spiel. You guys type away in your chat, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so Enho did miss out on his Kachikoshi today, but man, he looks the best I've seen him in years. It's actually hard for me to picture that he could not walk. He was dropped all the way down. He did not look good in his returns even. Like, what has happened? What has happened to Enho that he looks like, you know, he was never hurt in the first place? I want to have good feelings, like this is the new Enho, but I am, you know, I'm going for the ride here. So that's our Jurio news. I'm not going to anything else with Jurio, except I am going to bring up, let me see, somebody got really hurt in the lower division. It was one of Isegahama's guys. I guess he fell off the ring and hit his head and had to be stretchered out, and you know that they barely ever do that. That's pretty concerning. It just furthers the point that something has gone terribly wrong in this tournament as far as injuries are going on. I really hope for the best for him. It sounds like I was reading some translations, it sounds like he is able to talk and move his fingers. So I guess that's good news. However, that's the scariest thing. The fact that he's even in a state where they're like, at least he can move his fingers. No, I don't think his name is Toshi no Fuji. Let me look it up real quick. Let me see. I didn't see the actual match, but I did see the picture of him getting stretchered out, and I was like, oh no. Well, I guess, like, you'll say the former Terunofuji, he ran over to ringside and, like, started talking to him, trying to get him. Yes, that's it. Yume no Fuji. I am concerned. It's very, very good that he's able to move his fingers now, but he's probably got a long recovery ahead of him. And we just have to pray for the best for him. You were wrong about Asanoyama, Army, but we'll get there. Okay. I think it was you. I could be wrong and it was somebody else who made that comment, but I thought it was you. Anyway, all the best for Yume no Fuji. I hope he gets through this. I really do. It was pretty scary stuff. But let's go to the top division. Koto Eho versus Ryuden. Koto Eho, man. I'm impressed. I didn't have him on my radar. I mean, that's my own fault for kind of looking at it as Koto Shoho's little brother. But, man, he's stacked. I mean, his shoulders. He just looks so strong and powerful, like he's been around for a while. Dare I say, I feel an essence of the wolf in him. I know that's a bit, going a bit too far, but man, he looks good. 8-2. He's in the crazy 6-man tie that we have going on. Wakanosho versus Shishi. Okay. It's a pretty pathetic Hanka by Shishi. I think we can all agree with that. I do think Shishi's probably hurt. I mean, he's not... We talked about his footwork last week. I was corrected on him saying that his footwork sucks. Okay, let me rephrase. So, yes, his footwork is terrible, and that's why he's always out of position, but he recovers well, which would require you to have some good movements, we'll say. Well, he's not recovering right now. He can barely move. I mean, that Hanka was like, let me just step. Not an actual leap to the side, like a step to the side. Wakanosho looked very annoyed since he's already been Hanka'd once this tournament, and he just took care of business. I have to say, he's very composed for a rookie. You would not necessarily look at him and say, wow, this is his first tournament in the top division. Very strong thrusts. I'm excited. I got to knock on wood because I'm always worried about injuries, but I'm excited about how much stronger he's going to get. If he's already this strong now, and he's already taken on the top guys like he's been here for a while, just imagine when he gets a little bit of experience under his belt. I am feeling good energy on this one, we'll say. Then we had Fuji Ryoga versus Toki Hayate. Okay, so John and I when in the preview show, we opened up this possibility. We were not saying it would happen, but we kind of had like this little voice in the back of our head that maybe because Fuji Ryoga was spared, he would try to return the favor and actually have an excellent tournament. And it's looking like that is the path going forward. Maybe he just needed the top knot, Sometimes there's the X factor for him. He needed his top knot. But he is looking very strong, very ready. There's an energy in the whole tournament for as much of its... For all the disaster that's happened. We've seen quite a bit of injuries, more than we've ever seen in recent memory. I mean, I've seen injury tournaments. This one is probably the worst one I've ever seen. Because of that, everybody knows they've got a shot, and it's just making them more competitive, and it's so good for guys like Fuji Ryoga. And perhaps for Tobizaru as well. Now, if Mitch ever shows up, he's not going to be too thrilled. But Tobizaru is 8-2. He is in the Yusho picture. He is in the 6-man tie. It's now obvious failing. We know that he had the vertebrae issue. I was actually surprised to even see him fighting in this tournament at all. And he looked okay in the first couple days. Now we're seeing the effects. I'm guessing they shot him up with some sort of pain meds. They're not going to last the 2 weeks. We have to be very, very concerned for Abi's long-term health and whether we're going to see, him having to drop out for some time to heal properly. Meanwhile, though, you got to give it to Tobizaru. He was quite aggressive in this match. I guess he really didn't want to hear the veteran fade talk. I mean, me and John had him, just done. He's done. No hope for Tobizaru. He'll be in Jurio next time, and he just decides to put himself in the Yusho picture, which is crazy. I'm excited about it, but he also, pretty sure he Hanka'd Wakanosho. I'm not excited about that. So, loyalty is here, people. Loyalty is for me. Ura versus Oshoma. So, the tournament started off, and I was worried for Ura, and now all of a sudden, look at what's happened. So Ura, went for his signature low approach, but Oshoma, he knows the playbook. He's thrusting him away. He's thrusting him upwards. While Ura's neck is bent back, he reaches for the belt and he pulls it right in, uses his leg for leverage, and just sends him off balance. I thought that was so classic. That's a small set of moves that aren't his usual flashy, throw a guy over your head. But that was brilliant. Brilliant sumo by Ura. He is now 7-3, guys. In the second place conversation here. I don't want to talk about how the world will unite into celebration should something happen here, but we could go from this tournament is a disaster to crying tears of joy. Okay. So now I do see Tamawashi talk in the chat. I will get to him right now in his actual match, and then I will address all the comments. So Tamawashi fighting Asahakiryu, this is his typical, when things are going well, this match is what happened. He, going forward with his powerful thrusts, he tried to go for a Nodowa, and it actually didn't work. That was a little concerning. But he finally gets a win in a very Tamawashi way, and he was teary-eyed. He's either really frustrated because he's hurt. We all know he's hurt. And he's thinking about retirement, or thinking about how much this stinks that he can't fight up to his potential, or he's already made his decision. So we got to watch this. These days could be the farewell tour. He might be like touching the dirt extra and all that. We don't know. But it's not looking good. It's not looking good for Tamawashi. Enjoy every moment you have with him. So Hakano Fuji pulls off a really nice throw in Chiyoshima. I thought he was going to be a lame duck. I thought he was going to be added to the list of injuries this tournament. But no, he's firing back. He wants to be in this. When I get to the end and we're looking at the people involved, it's going to remind you of how things were supposed to look before all the Yokozuna and the Ozeki started taking over. Now, I could be incorrect, but I'm pretty sure Army was the one who said that Asanoyama, just given up on him because he doesn't have the power. It's just not going to happen. And all of a sudden, Asanoyama, now, I wouldn't say I would hesitate to say he's being dominant, but he is looking very confident in the game plan. He's sticking to it. Great forward momentum with power. Ending the matches quick because we know he can't go backwards. And he's put himself in the 7-3 category. This is a man who was Ozeki. This is a man who has won Yusho. This is a man who is hungry. This is a man who this is the best opportunity he's going to get probably ever again. And I'm sure he's quite aware of that. And then we jump in and we have another 7-3. So Yoshino Fuji versus Ichi Yamamoto. That was a hard-fought match. I got to say, Ichi Yamamoto giving it everything he has. And he can't win in some of these, fights. I mean, Yoshino Fuji, the former Kusano, I prefer that name. He's just come alive. This is the man who, that this particular wrestler is very, very hungry, and he's had some setbacks because of how well the guys in the top have been doing. He's out to prove, he wants to be the next top dog, and he is a scrapper. I do enjoy his sumo, especially when he really gets into it with somebody. So he's going to make it very interesting. Now, one of the matches of the day, Wakataka Kage versus Atami Fuji. So Atami Fuji clamps he's got the same clamp. I don't know if it was the same elbow, but the same clamp on Wakataka Kage that resulted in hurting his elbow pretty bad and messing up his whole Ozeki run couple tournaments ago. And I'm thinking, oh no. To me, and I know this isn't true, but to me, when the Kotanages or Kimidashis are gripped on properly, it almost feels like there's no way out of it. And I actually even asked John, how do you get out of it? And Wakataka Kage granted me my wish by showing me exactly what to do. That reversal was beautiful. At the same time, he had to make a move quick because that arm's already hurt. At least multiple parts of him are already hurt. And Atami Fuji is just going to keep cranking on and cranking on. He's not going to let it go. So he has to get out of that match quick. Beautiful, beautiful. Hello, Bob. I see you there. We could talk Furin later if you stick around. But anyway, so Wakataka Kage, man, I always feel this way about him, but he's just stepping up. He is hurt everywhere, and he is determined to not care. He is determined to fight through. He is determined to win. He doesn't have an Ozeki run going. This is just purely sumo pride. Wants to win the Yusho, I'm guessing. Wants to start something new. Is not going to give up. Mr. Professionality, we sort of talked about him in the beginning. I will tell you that I was scouring social media all day trying to find out. The only thing I saw is that he was talking at the hospital and that he was able to move his fingers. This was a translation from Nikon Sports, so that's like an actual authority. But it's a translation, so I can only get so much out of it. But it sounds like... I don't know how to say it. I mean, it's good news, but it's a bad situation. And it's going to take a little time for us to find out how bad it really is. So, anyway, we really do hope for the best for him. That's terrifying. And it's really going to shake Isegahama to the core, I think. Going through something like this is... I mean, we know of that wrestler who died a couple years ago when he hit his head on the dohyo. It can happen. It's terrifying. But back to top division stuff and Yusho stuff. Gonoyama versus Koto Shoho. So another, this was a real slap and fight. No surprise here. I mean, Gonoyama, his style is the pushing and thrusting. Koto Shoho is basically a brawler. That's his favorite type. I mean, sure, you could call it pushing and thrusting, but it really feels like, he's punching you with his slaps. But Gonoyama Ballet saved him. I rewatched it over and over and over again. I really think it was the right call that we didn't even need a redo because he kept that foot in. Koto Shoho hand was clearly down and that foot was right on the bell. So I never thought I'd see Gonoyama in this situation. He's been doing good as we've been going ahead. Like the last couple tournaments, it seemed like he had turned a corner, but I'm so hesitant with someone like him who just was floundering for almost a year to suddenly be roaring back the way he is. Now I have to start being a believer. Now he's going to be one of the examples I use of anybody can make a comeback. I don't want to go too crazy, but I'm very impressed by this turnaround. And I think he's using a lot more leverage. He's not grabbing the belt, but he's getting under the arms. He doesn't have to rely strictly on blasting out at the Tachi and then just getting that one last thrust over the edge. He's got a little bit more to the technique now, which he's needed the whole time. The Koto Zakura match, really, the only thing it mattered was both guys were in danger of Makikoshi. Wakamoto Haru gets the Makikoshi. We got Angry Ozeki Koto Zakura. If he pulls this off, man, the guy's a true escape artist. I think he can do it. He doesn't have all the top guys to fight, so I think Koto Zakura could roar back and get his 8 and 7, but this is not what he wanted. In a time where the Ozeki should be the ones to take it, it's not going to be him. He has to fight for his life again. And finally, the match you've all been waiting for, Kirishima versus Shodai. Now, keep in mind, going into this, these guys have fought each other 22 times, okay? Kirishima having only a slight edge over Shodai. So this is a very familiar match. John called this in the preview show, that Shodai was going to upset somebody big. And we tried to guess who it was going to be. I don't remember who we said. I got to go back and see who it is that we predicted Shodai would take down. But I'm going to give John bonus points on this one. Shodai does the unthinkable, upsets Kirishima with a slapdown of all things. The only thing I will say is that Kirishima got his bell rung pretty intensely yesterday. It could be possible that he's still not feeling stable even. I mean, if he has a concussion, it might be hard to be in the ring. So I don't want to take it away from Shodai completely, but that's a very uncharacteristic way for Kirishima to lose. So, I'm going to skip to the comments because this is a very good comment. Oh, you knew Shodai was going to win that one the moment you saw the match on the schedule. Yep. That was clear, okay, this is the match Shodai is going to wake up for. And tomorrow, he's just going to go to sleep again. All right, so we are going to actually look at tomorrow's matchups together. I didn't even get a chance to look at him. I watched sumo really late today. But before that, I'm just going to give you a lowdown here of who's in this whole thing. So with 8 wins, we have a 6-way tie with Kirishima, Wakataka Kage, Gonoyama, Koto Eho, Tobizaru, and Fuji Ryoga. So you got 2 second time. Well, Koto Eho, is this his second time or third time around? This is Fuji Ryoga's second top division tournament. So you got 2 essentially rookies. Then you have 2 guys who've been fighting each other for years, who are both going for Ozeki at the same time. Kirishima and Wakataka Kage. This is almost like a blast in the past when we had nobody primed to take over Yokozuna, and these guys were the names we were speaking. Gonoyama, when he first came in, he was hyped up. He was going to be the future. And then it all fell apart. So if you go back in time, this wouldn't have been as much of a surprise. Now, Yoshino Fuji came in as Kusano, had an excellent top division debut, looked like he could be one of the next big things, and then basically hung in there. I mean, he didn't just crash out in a Jurio, but he started to middle a little bit. And, you know, the top guys were giving him a hard time, but he'd still get some really big wins. He's got a great opportunity to show himself in this tournament. Asanoyama, the former Ozeki, who's worked so hard to get back here after every tragedy imaginable has happened to him. Don't count him out. Hakuno Fuji, Ochiai, now I'm forgetting, Haku Oho. He was the guy that Hakuho picked to be like the guy he wanted to name after himself. And things never went right, particularly because of injuries and, you know, preparation for, like, he got the shoulder surgery to try to prevent injuries. Well, he's hungry, and he is sort of a direct rivalry to Yoshino Fuji. They came up at the same time. And then finally, Ura. The world peace would break out. Everyone would cease fighting. There would be celebrations in the streets. Everything would be healed if Ura somehow pulled this thing off. Do I actually expect that? No. Do I want that with every fiber of my being? Yes. As does the world. So anyway, I'm going to go over these matchups with you guys for tomorrow. Then I'm going to read all your chat. I'm woefully behind, so this is going to be a disaster, but it's okay. So Hatsuyama coming back up, not looking so good. We know he had a terrible top division debut, and now at Jurio 3, he's on the verge of Maki Koshi fighting Mitaki Yumi, who is just barely hanging on. Shishi Oshoumi, not anything to concern yourself about. Tamawashi Kimbozan. Kimbozan's going to go hard against Tamawashi. So Tamawashi's going to need to be crafty if he wants to get his second win here. This is going to be a very heartfelt match because Kimbozan's a very passionate guy and Tamawashi is clearly struggling inside and out. But he will have the fans behind him. Standing ovation today when he won his match. This match, you know, guys, this is my match right here. Wakanosho versus Ura. You have the very stable Wakanosho versus the unpredictable Ura, versus the fact that Takakeisho and Ura have known each other a very long time. I've already seen interviews with the former Takakeisho explaining that he does give the scouting reports to Wakanosho. So this could be quite a delightful match. Then they're going to start trying to thin down the Yusho picture and start giving you the big matches. So Fuji Ryoga versus Hakuno Fuji. This is a Yusho, I'm not going to say defining match. It's a Yusho, like who's going to be in the picture decider. Asanoyama, Tobizaru. Now these guys have fought many times as well. We got to skip these guys. Skip these guys. Look at this though. These giant matches occurring down at the bottom of the Banzuke is just amazing. Okay. Gonoyama, Ichi Yamamoto. These guys have fought a lot of times. And Ichi Yamamoto, he's fighting so much better than that record. Don't be shocked if he pulls it off. But Gonoyama has been surprising me this whole tournament, so I'm kind of going for the ride here. Yoshino Fuji versus Hiraomi. Another guy, this is typical for Hiraomi. I guess it's probably typical for Ichi Yamamoto too. He fights a lot harder than his record would suggest, so he's going to give everything to Yoshino Fuji. I hope I don't see any Hankas. I've seen enough. Let's hope that both of these matches are just as competitive as the Koto Shoho Gonoyama match and the the Wakataka Kage Atami Fuji match. Daisho versus Takanosho. This is a classic, even though it's a 4-6. Minatogawa's best friend versus his protege. They all know each other very well. Daisho got poked in the eye pretty good. I hope he's okay. At first I thought there was blood, but then I didn't see blood. Takanosho already doing his slowdown in the second week. Obviously, he does not have what he used to have, or, he'd be doing a lot better. He's either battling, whatever the chronic injury is, or his stamina is completely zapped in these days of his life. So I'm sad, but resigned to the fact that this is Takanosho's new way. It's always exciting to see Fujinokawa. Oho shows up for spirited fighters. Unfortunately, their records don't mean too much right now. This is probably going to be a 12-3 Yusho, so obviously the 5 takes him out, but he could still get a 10-5. Let's not count Fujinokawa out yet. I guess in theory, Oho could get a 9-6, but I always count him out because I'm mean now. Fuji Seiyun versus Koto Shoho. Koto Shoho is going to be pretty spicy after his loss today, and I think he's going to take it to Fuji Seiyun. Atami Fuji, Chirano Umi is also a great match. Chirano Umi fighting out of his mind this tournament. It's awesome to see. Atami Fuji, he's a big, strong man who has been coming along, but it's, he's falling back again. And I don't know how he'll be impacted by the major injury today with, I think that was his stablemate. We'll have to see. I always feel like Atami Fuji is a mood type fighter. And I almost can't believe we're getting this match on day 11. Kirishima versus Wakataka Kage. I get it. The Ozekis have to fight on the last day. But man, this could be the Yusho match on day 11. This was a day 13, day 14 match in the past. So get excited for day 11. And then we have the battle. What a crazy final match of the day. Koto Zakura versus Shodai. The limping Ozeki who needs to win, or he's going Kadoban again, versus Shodai who shows up half of the time. He's probably going to be pretty fired up after his Kirishima win, but it's not like it was some overpowering, devastating win. So I don't know which guy is going to be disappointing tomorrow, but that was a little bit of my doomerness. I promised you guys I wouldn't be a doomer, but whenever I see Shodai and Koto Zakura against each other, it's not feeling good. But anyway, I see so many comments. I'm going to just pick a wrestler so you have something to look at. And then I'll read your comments. There you go. The former Kusano, his actual name. Wish she kept it. Anyway, let's go to the comment section. All right. All the way up. This is going to be rough. I'm going to zoom through the ones that are less, applicable here because I'm past some of it. My most important points of this basho are that Wakatake Kage's grid is ridiculous, and now I absolutely hate Shishi. You'll have to elaborate on exactly what you hate about Shishi. But yes, Wakatake Kage is one tough dude. He is hurt everywhere. But unlike other guys where that really affects them, he's just fighting like it doesn't matter. And I am sure he's in pain. So you got to give him super credit. Monster is worried about Daisho's eye, as I am as well. Army admits to being incorrect many times. That was the most discernible Hanka I've seen live. She's going to be mad from the forbidden knowledge. Yeah, that was, like I said, that was a pathetic Hanka. It was insulting to Wakanosho. You could see his face, like, he just was disgusted. I corrected that with Army. First time I've ever been able to hear the boos through the crappy Abema speakers. Yeah, they weren't too happy about that. We did talk about Yumeno Fuji. Army says, I wasn't wrong about Ozeki Koto. I knew not to have faith in him. It's a sad state of affairs. I want to have faith in Koto Sakura, but he's just, I don't know. He survives. He does survive. You got to give him credit for that, but he just is in a world of trouble. It's like Koto Eho turned into a totally different guy. Until the last two Basho, did anyone know he was so versatile? No. I don't know what's happened. I have a hard time, like, picturing this as the same guy. But you have to picture that it's all going on in training somewhere. But I'm really not wrong. What I think is he'll never be Ozeki form again with everyone healthy competing. You're completely correct about that with Asanoyama. He's never going to be Ozeki again. But could he win another Yusho? He could. And that would be very entertaining. He was on track for demotion, but come on, Shishi, I know you didn't need to be... Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. That's why Shishi is hated. I know, it's like, don't disrespect Tamawashi. You don't want to get that on your... Because Tamawashi's not going to be here for long. You don't want to be the guy who hanked Tamawashi into retirement. I know Tamawashi had been fading, but it wasn't like this. He just shows up with his leg bandaged up and he's a shell. An unceremonious end for our Iron Man. The truth of the matter is, this is the fate of all men. And it sucks every single time. You get these strong, awesome, and I mean men and women. I mean man is humanity. There's just this period of time where they're so strong and they're so smart and they're so special in all these different ways, and then age just takes you out. And it can be this slow thing where you kind of get acclimated to it, or it could be like Tamawashi where he looked great and invincible for so long, but all it takes is one little injury that he can't overcome, and now he looks like his age. Like, oh boy, yeah, he's 41. I wanted him to make it to 42 so we could have a 42 Opinions Wrestler mascot, but I am not feeling confident about that. I was excited for Koto Eho after last Basho, and he's really delivering. He looks like a different man than the guy who first broke the top division last year. The intensity on his face. Now, it did remind me a little bit of his brother, but this was different. There was such a confidence that I said the same thing about Wakanosho, but not as much as Koto Eho. He's strutting around like he's been here forever. Like he belongs here and get out of my way. And that, everything else comes, he'll get stronger, he'll get better. Like he's only going to improve. So to be at the level he's at right now is pretty cool. Because how much better is he going to be? Waka seems more solid than Kiri to me. His women seem more dominant. I've always thought Wakataka Kage was a better wrestler than Kirishima. Kirishima is very strong on the defense. He makes a lot of adjustments. He wins those, he wins in those desperate moments. He also knows how to play mind games like what he did to Daisho in the day 15 win, then playoff win. But I don't want to say he's lacking the grit, but Wakataka Kage is just such a tough dude. Kirishima's kind of pulls back in comparison. This Basho's got two main narratives. First is injury, second is the potential men are becoming real men. Well, there's always the silver lining, as they say, right? The injuries are going to be the talk of the town. I wouldn't even be surprised if they're like, we need to exorcise this whole ring because lots and lots, this is a lot of injuries. This is like the COVID days where a whole stable would be taken out with COVID and then you'd have to take out 6 guys. But this time it's injuries, and they've been pretty serious ones too. I mean, it sounds like Hoshoryu might actually get out of this okay. But in that moment where these guys are down, it gives an opportunity to other guys who would be stifled by the top guys. We've talked about this for many, many tournaments now where the top was just crunching down on the lower guys. And it creates this frustration that will help them beat themselves as well. So just being given a little bone here to step out and really prove yourself is going to change the career of somebody. Maybe more than one somebody. Atami, geez, so inconsistent. I have a hard time believing that it doesn't have something to do with the diabetes and things. Like, if he's still struggling with that, it's hard to control diabetes. He's going to have more energy some days than others, and then that's going to affect him mentally. So I have to think it's something like that. Monster says, we are so back, Toby bros. I like that. Even if they slipped the rest of the Basho, I think the Sekiwaki both had respectable showings for their first time. I agree with that. H. Tim is here. Been under the weather, so that's the first I've been outside in over a week. Oh, well, I hope you start to feel better and better each day, and I hope you're in good shape for the end of the tournament, because, maybe it'll be very exciting. Waka has looked really good, but his last match where he flipped to Tommy using his injured arm worried me. That worried me too, but he kind of had no choice because Tommy Fuji was probably going to take him straight down like he did last time and possibly injure the arm worse. So as worried as I was, I think he did the best possible move to get out of that. We'll find out tomorrow when he fights Kirishima. H. Tim is excited for Toby. Oshoma tried to beat Ura by reading the Tobizaru playbook, but it was no good. He had some good bouts this time. I was impressed. Ura in those back bends, man. He gets all the way thrown back, and he still manages to reach and grab the belt. I don't know how many people could do that. At this point, I was just happy Tamawashi got a win, especially if this turns out to be his last tournament. You definitely don't want him going, 0-15. Atami, Koto, Ozeki, and Kiri should be dominating. If anything, whatever I've been taught at this point is there is no domination for a long time. None of these guys are dominating types, including our Yokozuna. So, we're stuck. We actually need a whole new crop, or we need somebody to get really good really fast. Sometimes you got to look at people like Koto Eho, but I think he'll have good tournaments. I don't see domination. But sometimes, like, one of the fresh faces will become dominant. And we might just have to, wait for that. But I don't see any domination coming anytime soon. Junkyard Soul said it was the hurt arm, yes. Bob is here. We talked about Yumeno Fuji. Kimidashi is actually very risky because you do it in a position where you normally lose the match. It's a last-ditch move. Unless you clamp it on, in the center of the ring, which I feel like Teruno Fuji used to do, but not many people use it that way. I agree. Oh, yep, the very next comment. But if you're good at it like Teruno Fuji, you can turn those losing positions from 10% wins to 25% wins. And clearly, Atami Fuji is studying that particular move with Teruno Fuji, so it makes sense for him to use it. But yeah, clearly he got reversed so close to the edge that, yeah, how do I say what I want to say? He was able to do it to Wakataka Kage last time. It was on the edge when he dropped him down in that Kimidashi. This time it didn't work. As far as Ozeki form, in my opinion, if everyone is healthy, Kotozakura is currently the 5th best guy, maybe 6th, so I had much higher hopes for Kotozakura. I just don't even know what to say about him anymore. He did it, guys. Gonoyama learned how to win when the match is longer than 3 seconds. Never give up hope. I read that earlier, but Gonoyama, if he keeps this up, is going to be my poster boy for you can turn it around, guys. It's possible. Oh, and Hakuno Fuji fighting very well despite the issues at the stable and his constant injuries. Yeah, I was surprised. I really thought, especially it was like day 3, I think, that he was going to injure out and he was going to just be a lame duck. But no, I'm seeing flashes of the Ochi we all love and know, the guy that Hakuho wanted to be his successor. There's something inside of him that is very special. It's just a question of whether it will come out. How about Koto Shoho though? 6-4, not too shabby. It's a good record. Still can wind up being an 11-4. He's fighting real tough. I do enjoy his very aggressive style of sumo. It very much reminds me of Chio no Kuni, and he was one of my favorites. I've always wanted Koto Shoho to step out, and he's won the One Yusho. His brother's doing amazing, so that should fuel him up. I don't think he's taken, he's probably out of the Yusho picture at this point, but he could be right behind them. Breaking news, all the Koto get stuck in an elevator and will miss today's matches. Yeah, something, we're still due for more strange. I don't want to jinx him. I'll save my Hakuno Fuji thoughts for the end of the boss show. We can get real deep about it in the recap show. I read that comment. Not what they want for a Yokozuna run. There are a ton of great matches tomorrow. Hatsuyama is here. I hope he does better. I mean, Takayumi doesn't need the win tomorrow, so it'd be nice to see Hatsuyama get a win. I would have liked a Monoi on the Gono versus Koto match, just on principle. I was also pretty sure at live speed that Gono had won, but certain no. I have liked them to take a moment to be sure. I think they don't want to do too many replay looks unless they really need to for a variety of reasons. One being that they're very, very strict on time and they like everything to fit exactly the way it's supposed to fit. But 2, it almost seems like people complain when there's too many looks at matches. Hey, JJ. Sorry it took me forever to actually get to your comment, but I'm glad you're here. JJ's counting everyone out. Not a bad strategy. Everybody on this list, the 8s and the 7s, they could all lose. It's going to be Koto Shoho. Koto Shoho, 11-4. We have had an 11-4 in the last 5 years. So it's not out of the realm of possibility, but it will absolutely not count in most people's eyes. Atami Fuji is doing fine. Don't worry about him. Now him and Koto Shoho, those are 2 guys I was wrong about. Hit the like button. Yes, hit the like button. Why not? Sasuga, I don't know who Sasuga is or if that's something else. According to the Sumo Stats analytic page, Hatsuyama's most similar Rikishi is Ichi Yamamoto. Hatsuyama is also Abi's most similar Rikishi. Well, he's got a long way to go then. I think what we talked about last time is that he just was extremely overpowered. Couldn't take any hits at all. So I guess he's got to get stronger, which is the most generic comment I could make, but he didn't leave much of an impression on me. So in a few years, when they've both aged out, at least we'll have Hatsuyama. Right now, he's just the OS version of them. Hey, I guess he's got to stick in there for that particular purpose. Can you imagine, like, when we don't have Abi anymore? I'm actually starting to get worried about that. He is in a category all of his own. I'm getting sad. There we go. Yusho affecting match. I couldn't think of the right terminology. That is perfect. I need to write this down. Yusho affecting match, not Yusho defining. If you can't get it done with both Yokozuna and a top Ozeki out there, then it's not a positive for Ozeki, Koto, Atami, and Kiri. Kiri has been lucky in a few matches. He's not been dominant either. Yeah, he's had a lot of close calls this whole tournament, actually, but that's a little bit of his style. He is extremely defensive and reactive, and he knows how to put himself in the right places. So it's not like he's not a dominant guy. And when he came into this tournament, I'm sure he didn't have these grand plans to necessarily win back-to-back Yusho. Now, all the hopes are being put on him because the top guys are not here. He is the top guy. I mean, because you can't really count Kotozakura in the state that he's in. So it's a whole different vibe now. And I do think that he probably has a concussion, which is going to make his week 2 quite miserable. I'd love to see Toby keep the dream going, but he's got a tough matchup with Asanoyama, manifesting monkey power. That's a tricky match because, first of all, we know Tobizaru is just all over the place. His strategy is going to be like running circles around Asanoyama. Asanoyama has to end the match quick because he doesn't have the movement with the knee. Certainly not going backwards, but I mean, I haven't seen too much trouble with him moving from side to side, but I can't imagine he wants to be playing Tobizaru's game. If he just catches Tobizaru clean, he will definitely overpower him out. So it's tricky. I would have given this to Asanoyama no problem in the past, but this is a very weird tournament. Hatsuyama had to add like 50 pounds to his gut to become Abi. Oh, he definitely needs to gain weight if he wants to be Abi. I am so happy Fuji Ryoga is doing well. He just needed a top knot, guys. Sometimes that's all it takes. He's definitely going to be talked up after this tournament by, a variety of the sumo elders. Kotoheiho got some good luck on the next card. Oshoma's a much easier opponent than they gave the other 2 win guys. I agree with that. Impressive Takanosha was doing this well in the Joey when he usually gets blasted with 11 or 12 losses. Yeah, I noticed in the last couple of days, he's looking a lot slower. So I know there's a chronic injury, but I'm not sure what it is at this point. I think he's probably got a variety of injuries. I think he had ACL a few years ago that healed, but you know how that goes. But he's looking slower and he's losing power on the thrust, so something's not right. Either stamina or the injury or whatever. But he's hanging in there. I'm never going to not root for the guy. He is, the last training partner for Takekeisho, and he was at one point a Sanyaku staple. So I'd love to see him turn it around, but I don't know exactly what the issue is to see if it's like even possible. Abi gave a pass after his back injury last basho. Abi probably should be in a hospital somewhere. So, yeah, you got to give it to Abi. He was pretty spirited in the match with Tobizaru, but he doesn't have it. He probably shouldn't be fighting at all, but, what can you do? I don't know how you fight with cervical spine issues. So we're probably going to have to worry about Abi. I don't know what's going to happen. There's a bit of a komusubi race between Gonoyama, Yoshinofuji, and Fujinokawa. Well, certainly it doesn't surprise me between Yoshinofuji and Fujinokawa. Gonoyama's the big shock of like, wow, he's reclaiming the position he should have been in had he not fallen into the slump that he's been in for the last year. I want Fujinokawa to claw his way to 8 wins and block the other 2, as that's the funniest result. He's still got quite a chance to do so. He doesn't seem to have lost a step yet. Counting Oho out is the intelligent position. Poor Oho. I just lost my comment, sorry. Oh no. Oh no, it's... Wow, I am so far behind. Whoa. Okay. Counting Oho out is the intelligent position, but we all know he's going to randomly whip out 12 wins at some point. He will. Like I said, he's Shodai's pupil, so at some point he will do that. Well, they definitely could have saved this for day 14. I'm assuming you mean the Kirishima Wakataka Kage match. Yoshi is looking good. This is exactly the kind of match Shodai has the perfect 50-50 chance of winning. Oh, Shodai. Chiyoshima has had 2 types of matches this basho. Immediate slapdown wins and certified classics that he inevitably loses. Pretty on brand for him. Shodai had put the Rishin Ozeki in his place and now he's going back to sleep. The true Snorlax. We used to give that to Ichinojo, but I think Shodai has earned his rank. Hopefully his match with Wakamoto Haru is a quick slapdown variety for both their sakes. Yeah, Wakamoto Haru is definitely on his way out as well. I mean, he's just... And when I say that, I don't necessarily mean retirement. He might need to take a break and let himself get demoted. Honorless Hanka and Tamawashi. Yeah, she's gonna wear that badge of dishonor for a long time. Yoshi, good choice. The Japanese ladies have a new man, Omori. Yep, they do. I finally saw him. I get it. Mitch, okay, I'm here to say something funny. Mitch, is it funny that Tobizaru is 8-2? I didn't hear any boos. I have to go back and listen. I watched really fast right before this. Tobizaru Yusho. It'd be worth it just to make Mitch upset. Koto Shoho also really turned his basho around. Yeah, he's probably going to have a good result by the end of this. Absolutely bleeping not. Hakuho about to come out of the woodwork and say Asanoyama's the next Ozeki. You know how much Hakuho loves Asanoyama. I wouldn't be shocked to hear some side comment about him. Yes, I agree with his size alone gives him a chance to win another. I'm going to say Hakuho whiffed on that one. Even the greats are wrong every now and then. Yeah, I don't know that Hakuho... I think Hakuho was looking for somebody with great potential and then sort of... We all do this. Saw the line of where this was going to go, but I don't think he was right. In fairness to Hakuho, he couldn't have predicted how it would turn out for Asanoyama. Well, there was a lot of things that happened to him that didn't happen to anybody else. Waka looks very confident this tournament. He's just, from day one, he came in like, I'm giving it everything I have, and I don't want to leave the ring with any regrets. Yes, Hoshuri was not confirmed to be doing any exhibitions in the Paris tour, but he intends to be doing the Dohyo Iri at least. It sounds like it was a pull and not a tear. So if it's a pull, that's a lot better news. Why is Shishi doing double Hanka injury? I guarantee he's injured. Definitely a lower body injury. I hope Waka gets it, but I can only take so much pain, so I'll say Kiri wins it. It is probably going to be gut-wrenching for somebody by the end of this. Like, it's either going to be the greatest high or the greatest low and all the drama that comes in between. That's true. That's Shodai's problem, too. Well, that would explain the Snorlax. The diabetes issue. Related note, they've announced the summer Jurio will be 2 days longer than last year, the perfect accompaniment to this basho. Yeah, the guys aren't hurt enough. Let's add a couple extra days in the summer where they'll be sliding around and have greater potential for injury. Kirishima's wearing the comically large anime bandage. This Yusho is his. Yeah, well, it flew right off onto the dohyo, so we'll see. Oh, yep, the bandage came off instantly. I tried to do a meme with ouch written on the band-aid, kind of like from the replacements. If you actually pull it off, put it in the community section. The recent reports about Onosato, it's actually really worrying. Zero real improvement, and his coach is now talking about exploring surgery. That's not good to hear. Yeah, they probably should have looked into surgery a while ago. But I think at this point, they're just going to let these guys have infinite time off. There is nobody waiting in the wings. They need to have their Yokozuna. Whether you actually need one or not, they want to have a Yokozuna. I think they're going to let him get the surgery and take as much time as he wants. But that's going to put pressure on Hoshoryu to show up. And it's going to put pressure on Aonishiki to hurry up and get up there. I'm still holding out hope for Aonishiki. I'm not giving up on him yet. I think there's still plenty of time to heal and get back to where he was. Kisano Sato Oyakata says surgery is needed. It must be really bad. I'm not surprised. Itami Fuji just needs to weaponize his bigness more. He's very stuck on, a couple of set of moves, which is good, because you really should refine, this is the move I use to win. But, I don't know. You almost see the look of worry and defeat on his face when plan A doesn't work. Hakuno Fuji should be a lock for 10 plus wins when not in the Joey. I think he's getting 10 wins at least. Sorry, he said he might be needed. Yeah. The fact that he's even discussing surgery out loud means it's probably needed. I think Chionokuni is a shimpan this basho. Hey, Judas, enjoy your night off. Will do, Goose. Thanks, bud. Ha ha ha. So if JJ is a Judas, are you a Judas too? For being here as well? Inquiring minds want to know. If surgery is on the table now, I'm sure it was on the table back then even more. I'm kind of agitated they're screwing around with this. It's a game that I don't understand, but it all has to do with the fact that there is no injury system in place. Goose, how did you get a camera in the Bonzuke meeting room? Sasuga means as expected. Oh, good. A new thing for me to learn. I don't like Hoshiryu's coach saying he'll be traveling to Paris. No, let him heal and rest, please, especially with the Onosato possible surgery news. Once again, I don't think they have a choice. When you're going to travel to Paris and you have Yokozuna, they got to show up. Now, as long as he doesn't fight and just does the ring entering, I think it'll be okay. As long as it's just a pull and not a tear. What do I know, though? He could tear it while doing the Dohyo Yuri, for all I know. But I see why Hoshiryu's got to go. This is one of the things, right? Unfortunately, there is some sacrifice you have to make if you're going to be the top guy. And we can go on and on about actual fighting and stuff like that. But something like this, he should go. If Hatsuyama keeps his butt down and gains 30 kilos, he'd be a Makuuchi mainstay. Oh no, does he do the jockey Tachiai as well? Yes, Bob, him and I believe Ikioi joined the ranks of alcoholic shrimps. Yes, Ikioi him. I didn't see Ikioi at ringside. I have to look a little harder. I've been rewatching your preview in the background while I work. I love how you described Toki Hate as a box of O's. A box of O's. So Hatsuyama is also O's. I'm just sad that RoboCop is no longer shrimping. Who was RoboCop? Was he the one that was in Hoshiryu's stable? I know somebody just retired or something. Wasn't Araishio Oyakata injured when Kirishima landed on him? I don't know. Wow, there are a lot of comments. Okay. Asanoyama versus Tobizaru is 4-1 historically, but you're right. This isn't too far off from Tobi's best chance to beat him. He's got the momentum right now. Now, Asanoyama, he's rising. He's on the up and up. He's in a different level right now. So I think it's more evenly matched than in the past. The two big boy pushers, Fuji Ryoga and Kazuma, are doing well. It took them a basho to find their sea legs. Only a basho, though, to really think about that. Wakamoto Haru probably gave Kirishima a concussion and injured his own Oyakata. How ruthless. Well, he's always lived on the dangerous side, that Wakamoto Haru. From the very early days when he was uchariing, several times a basho, I thought to myself, this guy's career is not going to end without some sort of significant injury. And when you are fighting that way, inevitably you will either hurt someone else or, the sumo gets a little sloppy. Pretty sure Takanosho tore knee ligaments and never got surgery. I thought I did hear that, actually. Now, what are you going to do there? Hoshiryu was in a similar situation. He didn't tear ligaments, but he's got the, I can't think of the name of it. But basically, the knee is going to grind itself to a point where eventually surgery will be the only way to keep from having pain. Is Gonoyama actually going to make Sanyaku before Harakano Fuji? Crazy. Very possible. Doesn't seem like, today's win was, a little bit by, sheer force of will. But he's looked really good up until now, so there's no reason to think he won't win more of his matches. That was true for Takanosho even before he became Seki. Why? Oh, really? even before he came Sekiwaki, believe it or not. So he fought all that time with those torn ligaments. Good on him. I mean, I guess Wakamoto Haru is a second career in pro wrestling if he wants it. He proved that much at least. Yeah, the DDT. I never thought I would see that in in the sumo ring. And just for interesting context there, the DDT doesn't actually stand for anything. Jake the Snake Roberts just called it that. So there's no, it's not like DDP, Diamond Dallas Page. DDT means nothing. Just that particular movement. Shodai just saw the payday and decided to show up for a change. Not a bad idea. He's still working because he's got to bring home money to the family. Tobizawa is giving off the same win by chaos vibes as Tokushoryu did. Yeah, that's an interesting point. We are due for our Tokushoryu Like You show. But I'm just hoping it's Ura. I don't think it'll be Ura, but boy, I'm telling you, the world would be healed. Why did Shishi Hanka twice? Because it worked the first time and he figured no one would expect the second one. Well, and I'm sure he had a little bit of the scouting report of, Wakanosho got Hanka'd, so let me try it on him. It worked before, yeah. Well, that's basically what he's saying. Worked the first time on Wakanosho. It's a double, right? It worked against Tamawashi, so it could work against Wakanosho, and Wakanosho got Hanka'd earlier, so it will probably work again. Except everybody is probably on to the fact that Shishi's hurt, and it's possible that he's going to Hanka, and he's very slow at it. So it's not a good plan. It's fair to say that all of our Yusho contenders are benefiting from the injuries to the top rankers, but it's made for an exciting one nonetheless. Yeah, I remember in the first week, everyone was kind of getting down because you didn't know who was going down next. But chaos is fun. And we're having a good time. Unless somebody else gets hurt, we're having a good time. I just hope whoever wins it doesn't lose the last 2 days. Last basho ended like a complete dud. I agree. I hope we're getting to a day 15 4-way playoff, something just absolutely nuts. And we get lots of bonus sumo. At least I didn't book the mariachi band for the Get the F Off My Banzuke Tobizaru party. Yeah, it's a good thing because you need to get your money back. You are not losing Tobizaru on the Banzuke. I'm so sorry, but I'm not. JJ, you already know what question I'm going to ask. He's going to ask if you saw Fiorin, JJ. JJ says, hell yeah, Bob. And so did I, Bob. I did start to watch Fiorin, and I have a lot of thoughts about it. We'll get there. I'm really glad I got to catch one of these finally. I love hearing all of your thoughts. I have to head to bed now, though. Enjoy the rest of your night. I'll watch the rest tomorrow. Awesome. Thank you for stopping by and chilling here with us, and have a good night. JJ's culinary genius. We'll find out what he made. Hakano Fuji has been reprimanded for not doing the proper hand chops before taking the money in his match with Asahakiru. Interesting. I wonder if he's developing a little bit of a rebel spirit. Maybe he always had it, and that's what's put him in this situation, but he's got to be feeling kind of negative about everybody after what's happened to him in his short career. I made these puff pastry hand pies, took ready-made croissant dough and filled it with a meat pie filling, minced beef, vegetable seasonings, baked it and had it alongside a mashed potato. I have to say that does sound pretty good. JJ is the resident chef around here. Sleepy makes good comments. I like when he shows up. I don't trust Hoshiryu not to be in a match. Yokozuna Pride. That's good insight. I imagine myself that if he shows up, that will probably happen. Maybe that's why that article was translated like the doctor said, bring him home and keep him quiet. It's like, bring him home and tell him, please, just don't move. Just don't move for a day. It's like Vegeta in the gravity chamber where like he's all beat up because he blew the thing up and then he's like doing one-handed push-ups so he's all bandaged up. I could just picture Hoshiryu the same way. I do wonder how much leash Onosato actually has, I can't imagine they'll let him take beyond the start of 2027 off. It depends on how they play it. Like, they could have him show up for a day and then get injured, quote unquote, and extend it. There's different ways they could play it. But there's definitely going to be conversations behind the scenes. But there is a real reason to worry for him. Jurio fought with a torn elbow and a torn meniscus out of pride. He doesn't protect himself. All he cares about is representing the Yokozuna role. He will fight with any injury. There's no question about it. RoboCop was Akebono's stablemate Taka Misakari, now Azuma Zeki Oyakata. Okay. I don't know all the nicknames here. Mitch chimed in with the same answer. I'm worried we will be seeing the end of Abi's top division days very soon. I think he really needs to sit out and just let himself drop and try to make a comeback. Because you can't heal a cervical spine fighting in a sumo match. I mean, it seems like common sense, but what do I know? Said it before, I say it again. Before sumo fixes any other problem, updating the treatment of injuries should be their number one priority. It's egregious. I would really hope that they would go back after this tournament and have a serious conversation, but I don't think that's going to happen. But I mean, this tournament is a real slap in the face. Like, look at how hurt these guys are. Should something be done? I don't know. Maybe. I would have thought Onosato's coach would have recommended surgery right away if it's that serious, since his career ended because of a shoulder that he didn't quite get fixed. Well, his was a pectoral, and while it's the same general area, maybe he really thought this was different. Like, just a dislocation. Maybe he didn't want to look into it. Maybe he has like some PTSD and wanted to just pretend everything was okay. And now he's unfortunately having to face reality. But I agree. You would think he would do something completely different. If Shodai beats Kotozakura, he's back to an even score, by the way. Oh, man. If he beats Kotozakura, I'm pretty sure Kotozakura is out. So then we'll be missing another Ozeki. Abi isn't looking long for Makuuchi, and Meisei and Nishikigi aren't looking good in Jurio. Yeah, we're about to lose a whole chunk of guys that were like the guys we watched for years. It's a changing of the guard. Now that I think about it, being that Azumazeki is in Hakaku stable, you think he could be a Hakaku stunt double? He could. I have to taunt you again about Wakanosho doing the Maya Fei pout after getting hanked. I get it. And excellent reference. I mean, Gakuten Saibon's my favorite game of all time. So even though you're making fun of my guy, you get points for the reference. I'm surprised Hakaku didn't say anything about Hoshoryu showing pain like he usually does. I don't think, I could be wrong, but I don't think there's going to be much emphasis on Hoshoryu or Onosato after this complete bloodbath of a basho. I almost think them getting injured is going to kind of, even Aonishiki, I think it's all going to go under the radar because it's just everybody's hurt. So unless he wants to be particularly nasty, I think they're just going to leave the Yokozuna alone this time. A big thing for me is that most of the injuries happened early, so there was less disappointment to get over. Yeah, wouldn't you prefer... We've had tournaments where the injuries happened on day 12, 13, and we're thinking, oh, we're going to get all these guys clashing, and then they're out. We had Hoshoryu do late pullouts, Kotozakura do late pullouts. This is better. Because we were able to easily prepare for, okay, who can we look at this point? Who's going to have a good tournament now? Hakaku's comment on Fujinokawa's Day 7 Hanka. It's good to show that a Hanka is possible. He has the power to move forward, and it's because of those usual efforts that he's able to pull it off. Hakaku has proven a lot more accepting of Hanka than I would have assumed, not just this basho in general. Remember when he defended Hoshoryu's Hanka? It's probably a double-edged sword. First of all, Fujinokawa is the type of guy who should Hanka, so like it'd be ridiculous to criticize him. He's small, so every guy should expect it. 2, it's sort of the thing that's under the surface. Yeah, you're supposed to condemn Hanka, but every guy has done it pretty much. Except for maybe Hokuto Fuji. Every guy has done it, and Hakaku's probably done his own share. It's funny when Hakaku gives the most lukewarm take and everybody acts like he wants all Rikishi to die and be happy about it. There is a sentiment out there that everything that Hakaku says is terrible, which is now starting to amuse me greatly. There are times where he does, in fact, irritate me. But then I sort of get over it and I move on. And sometimes the things he says amuse me. But there are people that's like, Hakaku's like, so I went to a bakery today. You hater. You're the worst. So, yeah, it is actually kind of funny now. Fun fact, no Ozeki or Yokozuna has won on Nakabe this year yet. Really? Well, we've only had January, March, May. We're in our 3rd tournament. There's still time. The more I think about it, look out for RoboCop to be in disguise standing in for Hakaku during trophy presentation. I mean, Hakaku won't be here forever. He's definitely going to want to leave somebody behind. The JSA has made so much money lately. They've already financially recovered from COVID and have a surplus. They should invest something into Rikishi health. They should do something. I don't know what. I mean, I understand the whole abuse of the injury system, but you shouldn't go the other direction. With Hakaku running things, that will never happen. He criticized Onosato and Hoshirio for showing pain from serious injuries, even though they tried fighting through them. He's always nasty. I don't know what exactly needs to change. The culture is still the idea of treating injury through training, and I'm not sure if the newer, younger stable masters are that much different philosophically. I will say, I encourage you guys to watch, I think it was the Sumo Primetime video, where Minato Gawa was doing a press conference with Wakanosho. In that, there was not, it wasn't an extremely long interview, but a lot was said. And one of the things he said is, we're going to train this way to avoid injury. So I know that at least Minato Gawa is very, very focused on doing things that prevent injury. And I'm pretty sure Yoshikaze, I can't remember his name now, also in that mindset. I do think the younger guys are going to focus more on proper training to avoid injury. Now, I don't know what their philosophy will be during injury, but if you remember when Takakeisho, they're talking about Aonishiki having the shortest Ozeki stay, but then you have to put Takakeisho in there. I think Aonishiki's is technically shorter because by days, but the same exact thing happened to Takakeisho. His stable master pulled him out and said, we're concerned about his long-term future. He will go, he will try at Sekiwake to get the 10 wins, which he did, and then remained Ozeki for another 4 years. The sentiment was already there. And even Hoshiryu's coach pulling him on like a day 13 to prevent a further injury. It's just slowly integrated in. It might just take time. Roga is so frustrating sometimes. He lost to a 2-7 Jurio, man. What is he doing? Roga is Roga. Roga is very, very mediocre. You could say stable, I suppose, but I think he's already hit his ceiling. This is like the best you're going to get from him. Pulling for Hakano Fuji and Toby with my favorites out. Well, I got to tell you, when Asakuryu went down, I'm like, man, that felt not as bad as Hoshiryu, but it felt on the level of like pain. Because now he's got to sit back. And the reason I'm bringing him up is because that's who I was rooting for. Not necessarily to win the Yusho, but I was rooting for Wakanosho and Asakuryu to do really, really well. And that's who I was going to put all my energy into. So now Asakuryu's got to sit back and grieve. That's got to be really hard. It's got to be hard. But we must all do what we must do. This life can be incredibly difficult. Scratch that. They have a big surplus of money, so they don't have to add more flippin' tour dates. Why did they add more tour dates? Because I'm guessing sumo is at the highest demand it's been in the modern times. Yoshikaze is Nakamura. That's right. I gotta remember that. Nakamura. So Nakamura is focused on injury prevention. Minato Gawa is. Am I blanking on Hoshoryu's stable? You fill me in. Once we get to a certain time at night, I just get tired. They're all focused on injury prevention. Kisano Sato, I don't know what to say to him. He should have made a different choice. The mechanical system that stores the dohyo broke because the Tawada were just a little bit too big. I did hear about that as well, which means the dohyo was actually down lower. Which would be very interesting if it is in fact lower. That might be the difference between Umeno Fuji. Like, that could make a difference in his injury situation. Had it been a little bit higher, could it be an even worse state? Those are the kind. Just think, this tournament does seem a bit cursed. Just saying. Cosmic irony is that the dohyo was lowered and there were only more injuries, and that's the other factor. But some of these injuries, maybe they would have been worse. Maybe they were going to happen no matter what. Roga has the most clearly defined ceiling and most clearly defined floor of any Rikishi based solely on rank. Completely agree. You just throw him in the box and that's Roga. Yeah, Asakuri was fighting very well. Yeah, and now it's so heartbreaking. You know, he was fighting for his mom's sake and now he can't do it. He's got to sit back and he's got to grieve her loss and, you know, start all over again. Maybe we should blame Kimura Shinosuke. Clearly, he must not have blessed the dohyo correctly. I wouldn't be too shocked if some people did blame that and started, like, going on a tear. Work tomorrow. I have to call it a night. Thank you for the conversation. Thank you, Army. Continue to chat in the community section, and I will reply. Roga is like, his style doesn't have an obvious holes of a Koto Echo, but I think back to his match with Tobizero. How did Toby didn't need invasion to win? Maybe his style is just too soft. He's very soft. I agree with that. Tatsunami. Yes, Tatsunami. Oh, my brain is not working tonight. Sadano Omi's comment on the lower dohyo. No, I didn't notice. I think people would make fun of me if I did. Sadano Omi is such a pleasant man. The dohyo is still within the regulation height, though. Well, I would guess so, or they would have not allowed it. I forget if it was Sadano Umi, but one of the wrestlers interviewed said a lot of them don't actually want the dohyo lowered because they want the space to ensure they can go into a safe fall. Yeah, I think it was Sadano Umi, actually. Well, I've thought about this a little bit. I suppose there is the potential of more spectators getting hurt, because if you're getting pushed full force straight, like no resistance whatsoever, you might go flying. You might be like a bowling ball that goes, you know, through 5 rows of people. And maybe if you're worried about hurting people, you do something to stop it and you actually get more lower body injuries. I don't know if there's a way to like pad the floor better. Like, could they just have like padding all around? I mean, they're going to have to really think about this after the injury today with Umeno Fuji. There's going to have to be a lot of conversation. They shrunk the dohyo by like an inch. I'm not sure if that made a big difference. You never know. Sometimes the smallest little inches make a big difference. Have a good week. Enjoy Memorial Day weekend. Salute to my fallen brothers in Iraq and Afghanistan. Also to those who gave their lives for this country. R.I.P. brothers and sisters. Well said, Army. Yes, I hope you have a enjoyable Memorial Day weekend and something good can happen. And, you know, we'll look forward to the end of the sumo time. Maybe I'll actually debut the stream on Memorial Day. people are around. I didn't get to finish this point earlier. Oshoma's underrated. He has fun fights, and I hope he gets back into form soon. Isn't he injured in some way, and that's why he's struggling? Because we had high hopes for him, and then something just kind of... First he got married, and then something happened. And I think it was an injury, not like a really serious one, but something that set him back. Can Hoshiryu win the Yusho? I wish, man. I wish. It's going to make it so much harder in July because every time something goes wrong, I want Hoshiryu to win that much more. And then something even worse happens. So it's just getting harder and harder every tournament. The only blessing in this whole thing has been that I really haven't worried too much about anybody specific because all of my guys are already down, except for Wakanosho, knock on wood. So I'm not sitting there worried about people's records. I'm kind of just going along for the ride because all my favorites are out of it. Oshoma had a herniated disc. That's it. The more appropriate question is, who isn't injured? That is the more appropriate question. I don't think there's a single guy in this roster who isn't injured. I forget. I need to check the last stream. I think it was a hernia in the lower back. Yeah, these guys with these cervical spine issues and herniated discs and all this and that, like, those things don't just heal. Rough sport. Good night, everybody. Good night, Army. Oshoma normally leans more to the belt than pushing, but he was avoiding the clinch with Fujiseon like the plague. Well, I mean, who knows what state he's in right now. He's not 100%, that's for sure. I can't believe I caught up. I was thinking there was no way that I was going to catch up. And the combo of the little leg trip and the classic Oshoma redirection, magnificent. I do love those little, like, a lot of times I actually just focus on the feet because there's a lot going up top and I'm always waiting for the leg trips and stuff like that. It just, I don't know what makes me automatically look for those. Love my man Fujiseon. First he got married and then he got injured. Now I have questions. It's just the luck of the draw. You have this like really, really high, like everything's going great, and then inevitably a fall. The marriage debug. Debuff. I was going to say, what are we talking? That's like a bug zero comment right there. He hasn't shown up in a while. Although he's shown up in our view section. We have like over 1,000 subscribers, but we're getting like 100 views a video. I'm like, oh, jeez. I'm going to give that to bug zero. We're doomed. We can't grow anymore. Although, John has prepared something very fun and interesting for you guys. We'll see if this helps us get back in the algorithm. Personally, I enjoy what I've seen so far. Fujiseon looks very appropriately ranked this basho. Go figure. Gotta have something normal in this basho. I'm slightly amused by the insinuation. Your imaginations could go wild, I'm sure. Particularly you, Mitch. Okay, guys. Now is the time to start spamming some comments if you don't want me to leave the stream. I know we have I think we're going to have a lot to talk about tomorrow for sure, because those matchups are going to be, some of them are, like I said, they should be day 14 matchups. We're going to narrow down the field pretty quickly tomorrow, which usually happens on day 12. So we're getting spicy early here in this tournament. What's really funny, Bob, is that it said Furin and then it auto-corrected to freeze. So, you want to talk about freeze or you want to talk about Furin? I've been thinking this for a while, but now that you've seen him fight, let's talk. Wakanosho is very talented, but right now I think his best case is Ozeki. Okay. So, my thoughts on Wakanosho. I'm always very hesitant with a rookie period. Because it's very easy to overhype a guy. So I think you're right. Like, we can't look at Wakanosho in the lens if we want to look at him. You know, we want Minato Gawa to get his pusher thruster, his pure pusher thruster Yokozuna. We all want his goal in life to happen. But I could see Wakanosho as Ozeki. He already looks like he's of the caliber. I'm very impressed by how composed he is. He's not flailing all over the place. He's not making like really foolish mistakes. I wouldn't say he's been perfect, but he's definitely fighting like somebody who's got a plan, and he's sticking to, we're going to get cliche here, but it's true. He's sticking to his brand of sumo, and so if he loses, it's because he got beat, not because he couldn't execute. So he's very good with his execution. He's very strong. And like I said, I think he will get better and better and better. Dare I say, he has the potential to be a better version of Takakeisho, which would make him an excellent Ozeki, and then we can go from there on the Yokozuna talk. Stick around, you're doing great. All right, I'll stick around. As long as I'm doing great and I'm not boring. Let me know if you want to get into the Kabu conversation. I might. I got to pull up your sheet. Speaking of Wakanosho, he's also got a pretty decent gas tank as well. Yes, that's a very good point. He's not looking gassed in these matches, and once again, he's a rookie. He's facing competition that's way higher than he's facing in Jurio, and he's hanging in there like he belongs there. I'm not worried right now that he's in over his head. It's like, oh yeah, he definitely has to get stronger. He has to refine his technique. He's learning right now. You are watching the man learn in real time. I think he's going to get better. Do I think right now he's the guy? No. But there's so much of a base that when he gets better, we really could see Takakeisho Part 2. We really could. Okay, I gotta calm down. I want it too much. And when you want things in sumo, it gets taken away from you. His body, while high power, is too average size to theoretically make Yokozuna with only pushing. Well, I definitely think as he goes, he'll put on the power. That's one of the things he'll have to work on. Ozeki's basically the best anyway. Well, everybody we've got this. Minato Gawa, former Takakeisho, has this goal to get a Yokozuna. So Ozeki's awesome and all, but we want the top spot at some point. Takakeisho, while small in height, had max power, max weight, and underrated smarts. Takakeisho was quite special. People like to say, oh, he was a one-trick pony and all he does is this. You're precisely right. He maximized what was capable of his small frame. He was super intelligent in the ring, and he made it work. He would have been a Midori Fuji-sized fighter to be the proper weight for his frame. He just went all out, went nuts for 4 years, and crashed out because that was not possible. Then made himself super small and said, I'm living a new life now. He lived his sumo life to the fullest. There's nothing he can do being born the height he was born. So the intelligence is why it worked out for him. And that's why I have faith that his students, obviously not all students will pan out the way you want, but if they really listen to him, they're going to go far. I think he's going to grow a bit still. He'll put on more weight. Wakanosho looks very confident. He does. Does it feel like this is his first tournament? It doesn't to me. And I have the bias going in expecting nerves. So it shocked me even more. Okay. Let's have him get to the joy before anointing him the next Ozeki. We're just having fun, Mitch. Don't kill our fun. Obviously, I don't think he's going to be Ozeki tomorrow. But I want to have something good. After all the bad, I just want to have something good. In my opinion, the first Oshi Yokozuna will either need to be more well-built like the bigger guys in the Sanyaku today or a butter hamster like Takakeisho. So I think he needed a late growth spurt, basically. Yeah. Or he can't be the first pure pusher thruster Yokozuna. That's another possibility. I mean, if you get too attached to the idea of he has to be this one thing, then you could stunt his ability. And I don't think Takakeisho would do that. I think Takakeisho will give it a real go in making him the strongest Oshi fighter he can. But I think he will adjust if he needs to. I'm not saying he's going to be the best Ozeki. I'm saying his theoretical best scenario is still Captain Ozeki. I will go with that with you for now. Alex says, oh, fair. I'm not sure which thing you're referring to. I'm not sold. I'm getting Daisho vibes. If he gets there, great. But I think a decent amount of things need to go right for him to get to Ozeki. Hey, don't forget, we have such inconsistency in this Banzuke. You never know. What does butter hamster mean? Like butter ball. Like Takakeisho was so perfectly circle like a cannon. And that only happened because of how short he was. So basically, he would blast you upward because he could get low enough, and he had the way his center of gravity was, he could just nail you upwards and power you out. He did it to Terunofuji, one of the strongest guys that we've seen in sumo in quite some time. He just had the perfect positioning and the perfect amount of power and the perfect shape to just cannonball the strongest guys out. Everyone used to call Takakeisho the battle hamster because of his physique. Well, also his face. His face kind of looked like a hamster, so he was like the battle hamster. Now you can't say that anymore. He looks totally different. First Oshi Yokozuna, guys. Akebono Yuri Kiri people, sure, but he absolutely made it to Yokozuna on the strength of his thrust. Hokuto Umi and Sadanoyama were definitely Oshi fighters as well. Yeah, but we're talking no other technique. Like, I don't know if you saw how Takakeisho fought, but Takakeisho did nothing but Oshi. And that was one of the reasons they said there's no way he's ever going to make Yokozuna, because a Yokozuna needs to add more. And that's part of the reason why he had opportunities to be promoted to Yokozuna on sort of like close enough, kind of like with the Hoshoryu thing. And they said no, because you need to have more. And in fact, I'll give you an example. So Takakeisho beats Koto Shoho for his third Yusho. And he actually threw him. It was a beltless arm throw. And the comments right after that from the press and from the sumo elders were, Takakeisho finally learned to throw. Maybe he can be a Yokozuna now. So we're not saying not first predominantly Oshi, first only Oshi. Now, that's kind of a lofty goal, and it probably will never happen. But, hey, we all have to start somewhere with our goals. Imagine Kaio or Bushozan, or as I call it, Bushozan, Diet Takakeisho. All our Takakeisho clones are stuck in the lower divisions. They'll never make it back up. Yo, Noah, glad to see you. I think the qualifying thing is supposed to be modern. No, well, I mean, these are Takakeisho's words, not mine. I'm not sitting here trying to say there were no Oshi Yokozuna. Takakeisho expressed his desire to raise up the first Oshi only Yokozuna. So no belt at all. Just pure power. Noah's the Sunflower Samurai, Big M. Oh, okay. Team captain from the Roller Town this year. Welcome to the chaos of this end of our live stream. Monster, you don't believe in Coach Minatogawa's dream? We're trying to will this extreme fantasy into being since we didn't get our Takakeisho Yokozuna. It's all we have left for him. Kaio not looking long for salary, sad. Yeah, Kaio, we were only going to get a brief glimpse of him. I knew that then. It collapsed pretty quickly, unfortunately. I still believe Takakeisho didn't know what a mawashi was outside of how to put one on. Here's another interesting thing about him. People talk about him reverting to a small size after retiring. Takakeisho was never small. He was bred to be huge from childhood. This is the smallest Takakeisho. Like, he's living a totally different life. He's literally a new person now. Mitch had to maximize Oshi knowledge. No room for Mawashi knowledge. It's that whole adage of do one thing really, really well. Takakeisho had a couple of things he did. So one was also trying to mistime the person by just stopping dead in the ring. So pushing, stop, throw the guy off guard, and then go again. Then we had the parry, those side parries, and we had the pushing, just getting low and pushing up. Those were the tactics, and he would sort of mix them all in and see what happens. But to push Terunofuji back the way he did many times, he perfected that whole mass, but it was terribly unhealthy for him. You could see he couldn't breathe half the time. Jurio Enho will fight Yusho leader Kazukano. There are also Tamashoho versus Midori Fuji, Kyoku Kaiyu versus Toshino Fuji, and Onokatsu versus Kazuma. Yeah, finally Jurio's looking a little interesting. It's taken time because it was becoming the veteran graveyard, but we've got some... Tamashoho I'm not a big fan of necessarily, but Midori Fuji, I expected him to bounce back if he is out of his heart failure. Takakeisho, not Mitch. Wow, autocorrect. I did think... I thought you were making a joke about Mitch. Now it makes a lot more sense. Yes, Takakeisho basically figured out at an early age, and I know this because I saw the interviews, that because of his size, he wasn't going to be able to be a belt fighter. He was going to have to just make himself strong enough to push and thrust, and that's all he could do. His arms were too short to grab the mawashi. He could do some of these, beltless arm throws, but they were tricky. He was at a height disadvantage with almost everybody he fought. So I think he did amazing considering what he had to work with. Mitch has been promoted to Ozeki now. Onokatsu is doing well in Jurio, but his ankle injury is clearly affecting him a lot. If he can't recover more, he might be going right back down. That's a shame. Another guy that we had hopes for. He was steadily increasing his rank, and then injury, bam, done. Kazukano popping out of nowhere to lead the Yusho. He was, people were talking him up for a while. So we're going to have to see how this all turns out with him. As you know, I don't get to watch much of Jurio, so I have no impression of him besides hearing his name quite a bit. Now, Bob, I'm going to talk to you briefly about Furin. I have not watched many episodes, but I made sure to sit down, and I think I'm on episode 5. I made sure to sit down and watch them so that I could keep my promise to you. It is a fascinating show in so many ways. It starts off looking the way you expect these typical, adventure shows with the, all the different roles to look. But it's almost looking at a piece of artwork come to life. And I don't mean that precisely because the visuals are beautiful. I mean, it's so deliberately done and so subtle in a lot of ways that you can only appreciate it you have to appreciate it in small increments because a lot is going on while not a lot is going on. Like, I think about, you watch something like Apothecary Diaries, where it is just moving, 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 moving. Plot point here, subtlety here. This means this, and we're connecting all the dots, and it's like your brain is like going nuts. When I'm watching Frieren, I'm sort of sitting back and just, my mind is opening up. And I'm waiting. I don't know what I'm about to see. Does that make sense? It's a really, truly immersive experience. And without giving any sort of spoilers, it's so deep while being so incredibly subtle at the same time. So I'm watching it slowly on purpose. Like, there's some animes I like fly through it because I can't wait to see what's happening next. This one has to be appreciated slowly. You have to pay attention to all the little small details. And it does actually hit me in my heart quite deeply. Like, it makes me emotional, even though you don't have that like blatant, like, my heart is broken, let's cry. Your heart is broken. It's, wow, I don't know how to describe it. It's deeply, deeply touching without being too much. So stay tuned. I'll give you more as I watch more. I will watch more to discuss more. Okay, back to sumo comments. But man, it's quite the show. I will give you that. I think JJ's a big fan of it as well. So it has well deserved its reputation. Okay. If you look at sumo stats, Onokato has the most bizarre Kimarite graph by far. It's literally just a big line towards grappling and another tiny line in the pushing area. Yeah, some guys have squeaked by in the last few years with these sort of styles that you wouldn't expect to see work in the top division. And it's fun. I like the spice of life here. Onokatsu's top 4 Kimarite: 75 Yorikiri, 11 Oshidashi, 7 Yoriteoshi, 3 Uwatanage. 75 Yorikiri, wow. A veritable Takekeisho Rex. Yeah, I mean, you saw Takekeisho's arms, man. They were not reaching no Mawashis. Frieren is like, take this piece of absolute cinema, now hold it, ponder it, savor it, wait. Okay, now here's an even better piece. Exactly. It is like watching, it's like watching pure art, but not because it's like, wow, the drawings are pretty. It's really to be everything you said. To be gazed at, to be thought about, to experience, to even rewatch. Speak of Diet Takekeisho, not a good tournament for him in Sandame, 1 and 4 start. Yeah, we're going to lose Diet Takekeisho. Like, we're not going to see him again. Frieren is deeply profound without being overstated. That is a very good way to describe it. Because it does touch you very deeply in your heart, but it is not doing the typical anime things that are like, hey, you're supposed to feel sad. Hey, you're supposed to think here. Hey, this is the part where you question everything about life. It doesn't do any of that. It just presents you a story and you sort of take it where you're going to take it from your own life experience, I think. Okay, back to sumo. But at least we still have Asahi Fuji continue to whoop some ass, even though he actually had to work for his last win. Now, where is Asahi Fuji? What division is he now in? Lower division semifinals tonight. Is that Asahi Fuji? Makushita Promotions. Our promotion demotion discussion. Arashio Fuji. Tanji. Fuji Tensei. Wow, the chat is doing a weird thing. It keeps putting, like, characters in it. Kotokuzan Goji Niu. Himu Kamaru. Jurio Demotions. Tanji looks really good this basho. I have not heard of Tanji yet. I feel like that name will stick out. Okay, these are Jurio Demotions. Okadyu. Hokuo is on. Kaio and Nishikigi. Poor Nishikigi. If he's not retiring soon, I don't know what to say. Jurio promotions. I will agree with Monster on the grounds of I haven't really looked yet. It's kind of early. We're only on day 10. We usually get more serious about this. Day 12. Daiseisan. Okay, these are promotions. Daiseisan, Onokatsu, Takeru Fuji. Nice to see his name pop up again. Kazuma, Kyoku Kairyu, and Asa Suryu. Okay, so Asahi Fuji is Sandame 6. Okay, we have some time. Makauchi demotions. Asakuryu, Tamawashi, and Oshumi. Asakuryu one hurts. Ruden, Tokihayate, Shishi. It's only a matter of time before Shishi got demoted. He's being bumped up to Makushita today to fight Omori. Oh, the big, amazing fan club Omori. The muscle-bound new recruit who is also undefeated so far. Exciting fight for sure. I saw like a little clip of Omori and I was like, I get it. Yep. If he continues on, gains more weight, and gets himself up there, he is going to be the talk of the town. Goji Niu is a badass name. Yeah, it is. The demotions look pretty clear in some ways, so I thought it was worth doing today. I get that. Tanji is from Wakataka Kage stable, 19 years old Oshi guy. Gotta love my Oshi guys. I'm gonna root for all of them. In the spirit of Takekeisho, I will always root for the Oshi guy. Interestingly enough, my favorite techniques are actually throws. Love throws. Oh, I really do. But I appreciate a good Oshi battle. Tanji is also undefeated in fighting Aqua. Well, that should be a win. Aqua is definitely like fallen down to nothing. Omori's face took a beating day one. Welcome to the pros, kid. They targeted that face. They're like, don't you dare come in here thinking you're going to be a pretty boy. Somebody's got to replace Endo. I mean, Endo was the pretty boy of sumo, so we've been waiting all this time. He looked very shaken up. Yeah, it reminds me of a story of something I heard recently, but I'll share that at a later time. But basically it has to do with somebody getting punched in the face many times. I'll share that for another time when I'm feeling more awake. Aqua actually managed to hit the Kakenage this basho. What's going on with him in terms of... Because I'm not watching him, obviously. What's going on in terms of his overall health? Is this just an age thing, or is he like beat up in all of his body parts? Daiseisan finally going to make it to Makauchi. It's been a long time coming. Let's take a look. Let's take a look since you guys are talking about all this. We can actually move this around. Oh, this is sad. Look at this. Just gone. Gone. Not going to look there anymore. Probably would be better to actually look at the records. So yeah, there's Omori. 5-0. Asahi Fuji. Jurio. Excuse me. Yep. May say that is bad news. This feels like a foregone conclusion. Of course, Daiseisan can't have a complete collapse. This is sad. This is encouraging. He just needs to win a couple more and he'll be back, but I don't know. I really don't. He went from like breaking a 100-year record to being stuck in Jurio. I don't know what to expect from him anymore. Takeru Fuji has shown flashes of his previous self. Okay. I mean, he has great potential still, and we know he's got all the vigor in the world. He wants to win. And I care about the passion as well. He's 5-0. Who saw that coming? In the lower divisions, you always fight guys with the same record. Aqua was 5-0. Yeah, once you get in the lower divisions, it's like you're either having a complete collapse or you're perfect. Aqua doesn't look injured. He's always had the foot sock. I think it's just age. Yeah, he was kind of old when he came up for that brief period of time anyway. This is what I thought was going to happen to Tobizaru when he first came up, but that guy, he's a wily one. Daiseisan will need a historic Daiseisan style collapse to escape this promotion. Never bet against the Daiseisan style. I'm not going to say collapse. I don't want to jinx the guy. The funny thing is that Omori is an Otekaze stable. You're kidding me. Just conveniently coaches by a certain Endo? You are kidding me. Endo is Omori's coach? This is like a joke. Are you joking me right now? Because that is too perfect. That's almost like Endo was scouting for something in mind. Is his arm ready for Makuuchi? I don't know. Takeru Fuji and Onokatsu are I worry not going to be healthy enough to win when they get back to the top. I definitely feel that way about Onokatsu, and I don't want to feel that way about Takeru Fuji, but he really did turn out to be a flash in the pan. He will always get to say that in his top division debut, he came in and just destroyed the field. Could have won from his couch, but he came in and fought on a busted ankle anyway, and made the whole world, well, the whole sumo world cheer and hail him as the next great thing. And then it all fell apart. The arm is not ready for Makuuchi. Tape so thick it looks like a cast. Yeah. That's not good for coming up to Makuuchi. Aqua's old. I didn't realize he was 35. Well, we got quite a few up in that range. Let's take a look. Of course, now I have to do math, which I don't want to do right now. So, Miyataki Yumi. What year is this? This is why I stop after a while, because I can't think. I'm so tired. If you only knew what my life was like, guys. So, he's going to be 35 in December. So, there's one 35-year-old. Well, we already know this man. Asanoyama. Okay, he's 33. So, we're not quite there yet. How old is our Tobizaru? Tobizaru is 35. Ryuden's got to be at least 35. Ryuden! You're older than I realized. You are 36. I had no idea. Because he's been failing for so many years now. So let's see. Chiyoshoma. Chiyoshoma is 35. Going on 36 in July. Daisho. He will be 34 this year. Takanosho. Okay. He's 32. He'll be 32. We'll leave that alone. And that's it. Oh, Shodai. 35 years old. So we got a lot of 35-year-olds in the top division, guys. Just for your reference. Wow, I went to look at ages, and then all of a sudden there's all these comments. You guys really want me to stick around. Most exciting for me would be promotions for Kyoku, Kairyu, and Kazuma. I'm looking forward to Kazuma. Kazuma is an enigma. He used to just blast you out, but now he's moving very slowly using the Otsuke arm block and throws. Well, he's experimenting around to see what works. I shit you not. Check the Kabu list. Kitajin Oyakata Endo is an assistant coach of the Otikaze stable. That's amazing! Oh my goodness. The things that you learn. That is amazing. 33. Kazuma looks like he learned forbidden secrets from Shodai this Basho. That's not good. Only if they're the ones where you can suddenly turn it on and beat the best of the best. Don't learn any of the sleeper secrets. Pretty sure Endo recruited Omori. At least that's what sumo forums have been saying. Well, it's too good. If he didn't recruit him, you know, it was just a coincidence. It's not the same. Hey, I didn't know Mitaki Yumi was a Christmas baby. Yes, Mitaki Yumi is a Christmas baby. In a way, it's inspiring that sports medicine is advanced enough to have all the veterans in the top division. Yeah, I feel like this would have been unheard of even 15 years ago. You know, to have this many guys still competing pretty well at that age. We forgot Takayasu. I gotta go look and see how old Takayasu is now. Because he didn't appear because that's why I wanted to go to the Banzuke. I forgot. So that I could get everybody. So we didn't even look at Wakataka Kage's age either. He's up there. Wakataka Kage, was that 33? I don't know. My mind isn't maintaining. 32. 32 going to turn 33. Where is our Takayasu? Yep, Takayasu, 36 years old. So we have quite a few old guys up here. What's the best way to watch sumo live? The Sunday morning sumo show on YouTube. Stream all 15 days. Usually start the stream near Jurio and does English commentary for top division. There you go. I think that's right. I want to say there was a school connection with Omori and Endo. What kind of school is this that they produce such wrestlers? Sunday morning sumo show is especially good on day 13. Unfortunately, neither of us will be doing day 13 this time, and maybe not for a while. So I would recommend any day, but 42 Opinions will not be there for a little while. We have I can't speak for John, but I could speak for myself. I kind of have this health thing that I don't really want to get too much into. It's not going to kill me. At least I hope not, but it shouldn't kill me. But it is wrecking my life. So I really need, one of the things I really need is a lot of sleep. So getting up super early in the morning is becoming almost impossible for me at this point. So I've got to do some stuff to fix it. You know, some treatment type stuff. And it takes time. It takes months to see results. So I'm just kind of taking it day by day. But, you know, I hope we will be back on the Sunday morning sumo show sometime. But in the near future, I'm just not in the good shape to do it, unfortunately. Thanks. I want to catch some Makauchi. Waka and Daisho are getting old. Yeah, I didn't even look at Wakamoto Haru, did I? If you bequeath to me the power to topple Kirishima, you may receive my blessing and all Rikishi shall slide from your presence. Dark Lord Shodai. I love it. I love it. I promise you guys I really am going to make the 42 Opinion shirts. But my friend who does the t-shirts is getting married and it's taking up all of her time. So I have to wait. She's really good at this t-shirt thing and I want her help. And I can't bug her right now. So once that's done, we're going to get shirts. And there's got to be at least one with Dark Lord Shodai on it. I'm still led to believe that Shodai saw the payday and decided he wanted a piece of that. I actually 100% agree with you, Mitch. Shodai does seem like the type. Never mind, day 13 of Sunday Morning Sumo show is going to suck. No, I really have enjoyed our time on Sunday Morning Sumo show. It's so much fun. I highly recommend you go and watch it. If we were in a better time zone and I wasn't going through all this stuff, it'd be different. But I hope whoever they get for day 13 is awesome. No offense, JJ. So true, Bob. So true. Shodai made this race wide open. Never underestimate Shodai's ability to make a difference, even if it's one match. It's what he lives for now. Yeah, he'll do nothing for the rest of the boss show. If you need designing, I can always break out the crayons. I want to see Mitch's t-shirt designs. You can email us. Why do you hate us, Big M? You know I don't hate you guys. You know that. You know that we have had a lot of fun on your show, and you guys have been great. I guess that's the solution. I just need to move to a better time zone. I need to move to, the Japanese side of the world. Isn't M in your time zone, JJ? I think I'm in a slightly better time zone than JJ is. I mean, I got to give JJ all the credit in the world for being able to get up and do that for many, many days. I don't know what just happened here. Did I accidentally minimize this? Okay. Had to fix the visuals here. I give JJ all the credit in the world being able to do it multiple days. I guess I'm just getting old, like Takayasu. The body starts breaking down, unfortunately. If I was in my 20s, no problem. I've learned so much from Sunday Morning Sumo show, but sometimes the shenanigans are a bit much. You take the good with the bad, right? So JJ is in Mountain Time. Top division is 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. for him. So I'm in Eastern Standard Time, which means 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. I'm not really sure what's worse. I'm really not. I'm not sure. Both are pretty rough. Whereas Goose is in basically Japan Standard Time, so he just comes home from work and watches sumo. And I don't know how awesome that would be to just be able to do that. I don't know why the screen went black. It's weird. Anyway. Guys, my powers of stalling, they're growing weak. See, you guys are getting tired. Amen, M. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun at the Sunday Morning Sumo show. So, I'm sure you guys will still have a blast. You won't have Jurio, though. And some of the best things, one of my favorite memories actually was watching Take show on day 13 and being absolutely gutted. I felt such strong pain that day, but it's lasted for a while now. Anyway, guys, I think everybody's starting to burn out. It's 11:23 p.m. for me. God only knows what time it is for all of you. For JJ, this is a reasonable time. Right now is probably 9:23 for him. So, yeah, it's been fun. I'll be back tomorrow. We're going to have a lot to talk about because the matches are going to be stellar. I'm Mountain Time too. I slept through Top Division last night in complete accident. I did that when I was supposed to be on the Sunday Morning Sumo show. I missed the whole first hour because I had no idea. The last time I was on, that's what happened. I just slept right through my alarm. I couldn't do it. Eventually, I'll quit being lazy and do some commentary. It'll be wonderful with large amounts of inappropriate language. Mitch, you'd be excellent to do it. I'd pay top dollar to watch you do live commentary. I'm kind of joking. I don't want to pay anything, but it would be highly entertaining. Loads of fun when you're in the mood and have the energy for it. Yeah, you've just gotta be in peak shape for such things. For a quieter experience, avoiding the hanko is good too. Oh, I want to just accept. Oh, avoiding the Hanka, yes, is a channel, but you bring up the word Hanka and I'm reminded of bad Hankas. Anyway, something I'm hoping Chris Sumo does sooner than later is a career autobiography for Tamawashi. Yeah, he will. He most certainly will. No question about it. Probably after the retirement announcement. I remember that terrible guest. If I had to talk to Goose for 2 hours, I'd pretend to sleep through it too. No, actually, it was really jarring. I kind of woke up startled, like, what time is it? I missed the test. Oh my God. It's the worst feeling. Have a good night, Michael. Thanks for popping in. You were awake for that one. Based, Maria sleeping through the stream she was invited to. Yeah, it was not my finest moment. And I felt kind of sick, actually, when I woke up, too. There are no bad Hankas. I understand, JJ, but I don't know if my heart really feels that way. I want to be so logical about the Hanka, but my heart really doesn't like him. But I have to accept them. You did trigger me. I'm having like a bad flashback now of that whole thing. I'll probably watch day 15 live. Maybe I'll do something interesting to commemorate the occasion. If it's Ura in the playoff, I will be up. I will lay on my couch and just try to stay awake. Fashionably late. Yeah, an hour late to a stream you're invited to is extremely fashionably late. My heart loves them. That's why there's no bad ones. We're on the opposite sides of the spectrum here. So I understand, though. If you love them, they are the best. If you really want to see people go at it, they're the worst. Don't want to get Hanka, just simply don't let them do it to you, dummy. I agree with you. It's very, very annoying when my favorite guy does get Hanka, and I'm like, come on, man. You should have known. You should have known. I'm getting fired up. It's 11:30. Why am I getting fired up about the Hanka? What Shishi did is making all of us Hanka defenders have to think about our opinion. Yeah. He got Hanka 2 days ago, then failed last night. Perfect both times. I do like the person who catches the Hanka and makes somebody pay for it, because then it sort of rights the whole world. If you don't want to get Hanka them first. Double Hanka. Why didn't you dodge? That's how I feel. That's how I feel. If I have to suffer another Ura Tobizaru fight, I'd probably punch a hole in my monitor. I still don't care much for that matchup. You're like the only one. Everyone else likes it, Mitch, okay? Monster, absolutely not. It was great. Yeah, that one hurt. I'm enjoying Monster having to sort of back off on his positions. Like, Mitch never does. He always sticks to them. But Monster's a little bit more reasonable about, yeah, sometimes the Hanka sucks. Let's just be honest. I'm being honest. I'm being honest that sometimes I can't be consistent with my feelings. Sometimes I can't be logical. Sometimes I just hate the Hanka. But I'm supposed to be, like, above that. Because, like, only rubes hate the Hanka, right? I could go to a retirement home and watch a goofy-looking slap fight. Will you stop? We lost a subscriber over this whole Tobizaru Ura thing. If you remember way back in the day. When you called it a chicken fight. I'm right and you're all wrong. You know what? Good. As long as we're taking our strong opinions, that's all that matters. Unless you agree with me, then you're all right. I agree with you about most things. The Hanka, and you know, I had to defend it when Tagekeisho did it, and it was very painful for me. I don't remember this. I don't want to bring up the person, but actually it was the early days when you guys joined. We'll put it that way. JJ is always right when it comes to food. We can agree on that. One of my favorites was Teratsuyoshi. His Hankas were so fun. You would give it to Teratsuyoshi. I like Teratsuyoshi. He was like the rebel reptile lover of sumo. I hope he's having a lot of fun with his reptile shows now. Sounds like a good story. Well, it was you and Mitch, actually, going back and forth about Tobizaru and Ura, and it really angered somebody in the chat, and it just... I don't even want to go into it. It was my first time that I realized how troubling the internet can be sometimes. Because I didn't expect any of the drama to happen. I still stand by that and regret nothing. Mitch has no regrets. Maria's opinion on Hankus changes frequently over time. Please understand. Because in my heart of hearts, I don't like them. But my logical thinking knows that they're necessary. And here's where it gets tricky. If it's a small guy, I'm okay with it. I really am okay with it if it's a small guy. If it's a big guy, maybe I'm mad at the other guy for falling for it. I don't know. I want to be consistent, but I can't be. I guess I take the stand of, if it's my favorite guy, Hankus sucks. And if it's not my favorite guy, then it could be fun. Have there been more Hankus this time than usual, or just more impactful? I think there's a fair number this time around. That's something I missed, was the epic Teratsuyoshi salt throws. Yeah, there's never going to be another salt throw like his. He retired to play with reptiles? No way. Yep. He just wanted to hang out with reptiles. He was over the sumo thing. You've got over 1,000 subs now. You don't have to care about what the peons think. The problem is I care too much. Somebody disagreed with me. I'm going to unsubscribe. Yeah, I didn't really think that was a thing. I was like, sumo people won't be like that. No, I guess all internet people are susceptible to such. People don't like Hanka when their wrestler loses, but if their guy pulls it off, it's cool. I didn't like it when my guy does a Hanka either, though. I didn't like the Takakeisho did one. I really didn't. Did it make me stop liking him? No. But I didn't want him to do it, and I don't want to see it happen. But it doesn't bother me if it's Chiyo Shoma. It doesn't bother me if it's Asakoryu. It doesn't bother me if it's Fujinokawa. I feel like Hanka belongs to the small guy. Hanka belongs to maybe the aging veteran. Hanka belongs to certain people. But the people who are just too badass, they don't need the Hanka. Well, I'm sure all I said was Ura and Tobizaru are cool and their matches are good, so I agree with myself too. It was so... I don't know. It didn't make any sense. I definitely regret nothing. I'm sure that guy was clearly misinformed on his opinions. I think he was just a big Tobizaru fan. He couldn't handle your unbridled hatred of him. But it's so much harder for the big guys, surely. Yeah, it's harder for them to pull it off. But, I don't know. I want Kim Bozan to Hanka Enho. Oh, man. That would start such a firestorm. Woo! It's true. Teratsuyoshi quit to run a reptile sanctuary. You can look it up. Doesn't that make him even more interesting than before? That's everyone's positions. Hankas are okay as long as it's not our favorites. Like I said, I'm nuanced. If it's a small guy, I feel like they're always allowed to do it. Teratsuyoshi is extremely base for that, by the way. He's just a real interesting dude. Akko was doing the salt shaker thing for a while. Mitch is right. Ura is overrated. We found somebody who doesn't like Ura. Is this true? Do not like Ura? This is awesome. Ergo, JJ has no favorites. JJ loves Ichi Yamamoto. So he has a favorite. How many subscribers can we lose if we have a whole stream hating on Ura? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I want to get into this territory or not. Didn't Teratsuyoshi get arrested? I thought that Teratsuyoshi did get arrested, but I don't remember the details. Jokes on that guy. These days, it's like the most pro Tobizaru zone in the western half of the internet. There's a lot of Tobizaru fans. There's more Ura fans. Obviously, like, pretty much the whole world loves Ura. I think people just don't like the style clash in Mitch's case. Well, Mitch hates Tobizaru too. I mean, whatever. It's actually fun, like, to have guys who don't love everybody. We need various opinions in the world. That's why this is 42 opinions. You're all allowed to think what you want to think and feel how you want to feel. Just remember that I go on rants. He got arrested for illegally parking and handicap parking and having a fake handicap parking placard. Oh, my. Which does JJ love more, Ichi or Henka's? Oh, that's a great question. We need someone to Henka Ichi to find out. I love this. I love this idea. Tobizaro may not have internet fans, but he's still very popular in the real world. No one can deny. Yeah, because he kind of looks like an actor who's playing a sumo wrestler, so I'm indifferent on Ura. My hatred for Tobizaro is long and well known. Well, Tobizaro, you know, if the rumors are true, it's kind of sketchy behind the scenes, so there might be some legitimacy. We all have that one Rikishi we hate. For Mitch, it's Toby. For me, I have an unbridled, instinctual urge to punch Kirishima in the face. We all have our quirks. Explain Ura like I don't know. The thing about Ura is, you know, the pink Mawashi, that's one thing. The fact that he really is like Gumby or Majin Buu or whatever, like you can bend this man in all these different directions and he bounces right back. He has a pretty delightful personality. He doesn't think too highly of himself, and he sees himself as an entertainer. Like his role is to make the fans happy. And so, by extension, he makes the fans happy. A lot of times he's using these crazy moves because the fans are going to love it. But deep down inside is a competitor who really wants a little bit more in his sumo. And sometimes he can do it, and sometimes he can't. That's when you get straight on sumo Ura. The enjoyment of the man is more powerful than the enjoyment of the technique. I'd be upset that he lost, not that he lost by Henka. That's a pretty logical statement. I got to give you that. If you have a fear of space and astronauts, you probably wouldn't be a fan of Ura. True. He did what now? That's at least creative. I feel like I'm in between. I feel like I'm in between guys. I'm hating on him. Ura got injured, ate the gum fruit, and came back. That's the other thing. The fact that he was one of those guys that went all the way down to the bottom, worked his way back up, and somehow has become a top division mainstay, even though his knees can't have gotten any better. Bro is rubber. Yep. It was Onosato, but now Onosato was felt out of the picture for a while, and it's not the same. I just think he rose way too quickly. I really do. That is, unfortunately, I mean, he can always say he was Yokozuna, so it's a beautiful thing. But the rise was so quick. I mean, what kind of motivation do you have to fight through the pain if you're already Yokozuna? I don't know. Or his flexibility needs to be studied. It's absurd at times. The fact that he got bent all the way back at the edge like that and just kind of bounced back, there is something going on with him. I am not a fan of Ura. It's true. This is actually wonderful because we wondered if there was anybody out there who was not a fan of Ura. And I welcome you. I truly welcome you. Even though I am a huge fan of Ura, this is kind of awesome. Mitch, as a judge, would be like, he was creative, let him go. Yeah, Mitch would be like, you know, he didn't win that match, but it was pretty awesome. He wins. Ura is why I have hope for Asanoyama staying around this time. Ura is a symbol of the possibility of coming back from the brink. No. I chuckled at the creativity and then throw the book because I enjoy throwing stuff. Mitch, as a ringside judge, would just bring my heart such delight. Ura was a gymnast and a freestyle wrestler. It's why he's flexible and has insane body control. I didn't know that. It all makes sense, though. I mean, he's always doing back bends on the edge. No one else is doing that. Guys, how did you manage to keep me here for another 20 minutes? I was like, oh, I'm out of here 20 minutes ago, and you're just making it too interesting to stop reading the comment section. Okay. I'm going to give my spiel about leaving, and hopefully you don't send too many more comments. So tomorrow night, between 9:30 and 9:45 because I go to the dojo on Wednesdays. And I can't always get out of there at the right time, and then I got to rush home and get all the technology working. So, somewhere between 9:30 and 9:45 tomorrow. And we will talk about the crazy matches, and I'll pull up the Kabu the Kabu Excel that Mitch was so kind to put together because it's very interesting. Monster wants the plug. Mitch doesn't want the plug. That wouldn't happen. My Dynami-shaped ass would get off the floor. Astronaut, magician, and gymnast. Sheer willpower and copious amounts of caffeine. I'm sorry, Mitch. I got to do the plug. I know there's a whole segment of people who hate the plug. You blame the other subscribers for this because they want this plug and they want this voice when I have other voices. Why is there no plug emoji? I don't know how to make a plug emoji. All right. In my tired stupor, this will be it. Yes, do the plug, but a different accent. Oh, goodness gracious. We have to diversify. I don't mind doing a different accent. It just might suck because I'm tired. Wait, there is a plug. There is a plug. I'm forced to do the plug all the time. Okay. Let's see. I don't think Ura is any more flexible than some of the others. He just showboats to get the crowd going. Pink Mawashi doesn't make him quirky. He does showboat to get the crowd going, but I'm all for it. But I can understand your position on not being for it. Okay. Plug. All right. You put me on the spot if I do a different voice. Thank you all for choosing 42 Opinions Sumo, the greatest sumo podcast in all sumo world. If you like what you heard here today, please like, comment, and subscribe. Bless your hearts. That's not even a good one, but it's something. Oh, the problem with trying to do Murray Johnson is that I have to do an Australian accent. I cannot do accents. I can't. I can do voices. I can do character voices. I cannot do accents. As you just heard, I try to do a southern accent when I'm exhausted. Fine. You don't like it? Good. Now you get the Valley Girl. Like, listen, guys, I wanted to do the plug, but, like, you wanted a different accent. So now you get... Welcome to 42 Opinions Sumo, the greatest sumo podcast in all of sumo world. If you like what you've heard, please like, comment, and subscribe. For me. So there, now you get that one because you forced me into doing things I can't do when I'm tired. Listen, Canadians are basically Southerners, okay? I want to hear a Southern accent from you. I cannot do a goose accent. I cannot do an Australian accent. I do voices. I do voices, not accents. The Valley Girl is funny. She's just really annoying. Break out the damn crayons and do a cue card or something, but geez, I think my ears are bleeding. Came for Takayasu, stayed for the chat. We didn't even get to talk about Takayasu, the poor man. So I just put the picture of him up here. It's like clickbait. Yeah, Michael's been here the whole time, Bob. Do Vegeta voice plug. I really want to do some practice on that. I used to do a Perfect Cell voice, actually. But I would want to practice. Let me write down. Maybe I can do a Perfect Cell voice one. Yeah, I was going to say Goose's Australian accent isn't the typical sounding Australian accent. Perfect Cell plug. I'm going to work on that. Or maybe a Majin Buu plug. Vegeta would be a good one. I have to work on Vegeta. I have to work on that. Quite right. Goose accent isn't a pure Australian accent. I'm just blind, I guess. Perfect cell would be great. The accent is actually crazy goose lore. I bet. I want to hear the perfect cell. I'll work on the perfect cell. I used to do perfect cell just for kicks. I would do these like little skits, and it was pretty good. But I haven't done it in a long time. I do a Jonathan Joestar. Everybody get in the car now. Ah, this isn't the car. No, no. Hermit, purple. I suddenly feel a strong urge to hear an evil Elmo plug. I think I can do Elmo also. I would want to practice all these before doing this on demand. Can't say that I like the plug, but it's necessary. It's a ritual. There are sometimes things in life that you just really don't like, but you wait for them anyway. All right, guys, you've kept me here too long. I literally can't see the screen anymore. So I'm going to go. Thank you all for hanging out with me. Sorry if you came here for Takayasu. But on our recap show, we will definitely get into Takayasu. The plug is sumo tradition. Hey, I just give the people what they want. Like the DMV. The Valley Girl plug is the DMV. With that, I say farewell, good night, and I'll see you all tomorrow. You did blind me. I really can't see. Good night.